He's been in the news all through the general elections in India, was removed from his position, but now has been reinstated. We are discussing a lot about how Congress is going to look at its foreign policy through the prism and eyes of Sam Pitroda. Mr. Pitroda, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global. Let's begin with what really happened. The focus is not going to be that, but we have to begin and set a primer. So what really happened? There are reports that you were sacked, you were removed, but what was the decision and who called you when they thought you were an indispensable force and needed to be reinstated?
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I sincerely appreciate this platform. It turned out that during election, no matter what I said, was blown out of proportion, taken out of context, and made into a big deal, mainly by Prime Minister. There were two issues of concern to me. One was about inheritance tax. I merely mentioned that US has inheritance tax. And this is one of the ways that people all over the world try to bridge income inequality. That was taken up.
Did you not suggest it for India? Did you not suggest that for India?
No, not at all. Who am I to suggest? And even if I suggested, for it to become a law, you will need a lot of conversation at various levels in the country, debate in the parliament, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, so and so forth. And it's a very long process. Okay. And it is okay for someone like me to suggest as well. I didn't suggest it. But it is okay for me to suggest as well. Nothing wrong with it. It's not a crime to suggest an idea. I mean, what kind of an attitude is that? That why did you suggest? Of course, I can suggest.
Yes. But the fact, Mr. Pitroda, I think comes and stems from the fact that a lot of the issues over here have to do with you being an advisor, not just to the Congress party.
I'm not an advisor, first of all. No, first of all, I'm not an advisor. I'm not an advisor to Rahul Gandhi. It is your profession.
You don't advise him at all?
No, I do not advise at all. I do not advise even my own children. Okay. Who am I to advise anybody? Okay. They all have independent minds. They are highly educated people. We have conversation. We have conversations. That's not advice. Then came the issue of my conversation about diversity. If you look at the total conversation, my way of representing diversity may be a little different from your way of expressing. But that doesn't mean I'm racist. But that's what the label you guys are giving. What a shame.
There was a comparison. There was a comparison you drew.
There was no comparison. No. Stop it right there. There was no comparison. It says they look like. That's not a comparison.
That is a comparison.
No, it is not a comparison.
When you say these people from India look like this race and these...
Let's assume that it's a comparison.
Although, can I add a rider here? Can I add a rider here? For every viewer, that taking offense to being called African itself is racism. So let's not
first of all, to me,
that itself is wrong. But having said that,
no, fine.
First of all, hurts people's sensitivities. I'm just saying.
Maybe I accept that. Okay, maybe I made a mistake in the way it was said. But to me, being African is very normal. We are all from Africa. We are all from Africa. So it never even occurred to me that calling somebody from Africa would be taken personally. What is wrong with calling from Africa? We are all, every human being came from Africa. We should be proud of our heritage. Okay? But in India, you have this color bias. Okay? I'm dark. My wife is very light. Okay? We live in peace and comfort. At the end of all that, I said, in spite of all this, we are all brothers and sisters, which nobody talked about, which nobody showed. Is that fair? That's not fair.
I really need to ask you, How did you get reinstated? Why were you removed? Did you become an inconvenience for the Congress party during election?
First of all, I think differently than many of people in India. I lived in America.
You mean India or the Congress?
In India, because I'm taking media. I'm not a normal person like everybody else. Okay? So it's okay for me to have different views and different ideas. You got to accept me.
Weren't there dissenters within the Congress? Weren't there people within the Congress?
Of course, there are people who would be jealous.
Who said Pitroda has to go?
No, but of course there will be people who will be jealous. That's very normal in India. What's wrong with it? I accept it. There are
it is normal across the world, not just India. Jealousy is across the world, not just India.
We should be really on unemployment. We should be on inflation. We should be on real election issues. And no matter what I say, media will make that issue of the day and just focus for next 24 hours to divert attention. So it is better for me to back off. The only way to back off is to say, look, I'm going to resign. I don't need a job at 82. So I felt it is not fair. I must take myself out. So I took myself out. And then it's a matter of our internal stuff, who I talk to and all that. That doesn't need to be outlined to everybody. That's an internal stuff. We made an arrangement that I will resign right now. And then if you want, we'll talk about it later on.
Who called you to reinstate you? Did Rahul Gandhi call you himself?
No, that's a personal thing. That's a personal thing I would not discuss. Okay, it's not public information.
But how were you reinstated? I mean, who communicated that to you?
That's a
that they want you back.
I mean, you saw it in the notice.
It's official.
Say it again.
I said it's official. So who communicated the reinstatement decision to you? And are you that indispensable when it comes to how Congress is managed?
That is for party. That is for party to decide. Congress party president is the boss. He had to probably give an order, which was then documented and sent out to public. Mr. Kharge is the boss.
Okay. So the word came from Mr. Kharge's office?
No, I'm not talking about any of that. That's a personal thing I'm not willing to discuss.
What about your hua to hua comment on the 84 Sikh riots?
Well, what is the sense in talking about it now? All it meant is whatever happened, let's move on. Nobody talks about let's move on. Okay? And even if I made the comment, what is the issue? I don't understand you guys.
But again, it's insensitive towards those maybe who suffered at the hands of...
Can we look forward, please? Can we have a conversation on going forward? Why do we always look backward and go all the way to God? Okay?
The fact that you mentioned God, you also there was a temple controversy as well. You
stated there was no temple controversy at all. Okay, it is your idea.
Temples
there was no temple controversy. There was no temple controversy at all. Okay, it's all bogus. You guys create it. Okay, and I must tell you, you all do not do justice to a view which is different.
What is the view on the temple building in India?
Very simple. Temples are not going to create jobs. Very simple. I say that today. I've said it in the past. It has nothing to do with controversy. It is my view. Okay? Now, you may not agree with that view. That's
most Indians might not agree with that view.
Say it again.
I said most Indians might not agree with that view.
But that's okay.
That is an article of faith, a matter of faith.
That's okay for you not to agree now. What's the problem? I believe future lies in science and technology. I believe science and technology will create jobs of the future, not temple.
Mr. Pitroda, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your views on various aspects that are important to India and part of India's foreign policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wish you all the best and let's remain in touch.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.